It's in the field radio, y'all.
Everything's real in the field. Yeah.
On 91.3 FM, WVKR.
Then it goes a little something like.
Welcome to the Field Radio. I'm Erin Boogie. I'm here with Lady D.
What's going on?
Yo, can I tell you that I'm actually depressed tonight that we're not recording in the studio?
Yo, because that was so fun. I felt so official.
Exactly. And now I feel bootleg again. Here we are on Zoom.
And before I was like, yo, I'm never going back to the studio again. Like, Zoom is it. But then we were there and I was like, oh, I feel this. I miss getting dressed up and all that.
Yes. And it was such a different vibe, like being able to record ourselves and stop and start what we want, fix what we want. You know what I mean? Like, versus like on Zoom, it's like, okay, like, let's just get through this. And like, there's obviously editing involved, but it's not the same. It's not the same as having the same kind of control that you have when you're in the studio.
Yeah. And then it was still like, I could still edit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we got to do this more often. I mean, soon I'm not going to work, so.
You know what, though? It felt super official, though, being Pro Tools, too, because Pro Tools is like, it is rocket science.
Yo, everything is so little in the software.
They do not make it easy for you in Pro Tools to do things.
No. That's why I use GarageBand. Everything's all big for the blind people.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's like the big font, like, or the phone with like the big buttons on it.
Yeah, and there's but so many buttons. Like Pro Tools, there's options for your options. Literally. And then options for those options. And I'm like, what?
Well, then it's like you go to move something and you accidentally condense it. And you know what I mean? There's a lot going on. It's a lot happening, but I was proud of us for our first time out.
Do we want to talk about what else we're depressed about?
No, not yet. First, I want to do the animals behaving badly thing, because last week we talked about the elephant. So this week it's a gang of monkeys kill 1-month-old baby after invading breastfeeding mom's home.
What?
Now wait, who said what? That was
that was Ty giving secondhand commentary.
He said what?
He thinks that you can see him on the Zoom, so he was like waving and giving you the peace sign, but he doesn't realize the camera's off. So,
hey.
But so this happened in Tanzania.
Oh, Tasmania?
No, Tanzania.
So Tasmanian devil?
Wherever you want it to be is where it happened.
I want Tasmania.
But it was a gang of monkeys that came and snatched his baby from the mom while she was breastfeeding him.
And she was just at home?
Yes.
And she didn't do anything, right?
No, she was breastfeeding the baby in the house and the monkey came in and stole the baby. She screamed for help, obviously. And the villagers rushed to her house to assist her. And they managed to track down the monkeys and they tried to free the baby, but it was too late. And when they tried to take him back by force, he got injured on the head and neck. And then he made it to the hospital where he succumbed from his injuries. So,
oh my God.
But why are these people have to be afraid of these wild animals coming in the house?
I mean, people in Florida do it all the time.
That's different. Florida's a whole different thing.
If you live in Tasmania, you know what I'm saying? It sounds like somewhere that would happen. Like, it's like living in Australia. You know what I'm saying? Like a big spider might come and wrap you up and like feed on you.
We can't even talk about the big spiders because terrifying.
Yeah. So, I mean, places like that, it's awful, but I feel like that's where that would happen. There in Florida.
So can we talk about a new artist that I got to preview recently?
Yes.
And how I was... So his name is Jay Swishes. He's from Brooklyn. And...
Brooklyn?
Yeah, Brooklyn. Okay. But... No, you know what was dope about him was his story was like super inspiring. Like he had overcome a lot, like to get to where he was as an artist. And so it's like twofold, I should say. So his everybody's trying to make an appearance tonight. Harlem, sit down.
Hey, Harlem.
So his mother passed away. He's estranged from his father. He had been kicked out of his house previously. and sleeping on the streets and that sort of thing, and was able to channel that into his music. Like his music became his outlet. And for someone who has overcome so much, he's not the oldest artist out there. So as a young man overcoming all these things, he had such a professional sounding, I don't want to say professional, he had like such a big complete sound. Like he sounded mature, like beyond his years. You know what I mean? Like when you're talking to him, he sounds like an old soul, and then when you hear his music, he has a mature sound, but not in like that. Sometimes people say mature like, oh, it's dated or whatever. It didn't sound like that. It just sounded like not like typical, like I'm an up and coming rapper and my stuff isn't mixed and there's not that many sounds in my beat and there's not that many parts to my song. Like he had all the right elements going for him.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But, some people are very precise. You know what I mean? So like the wise man learns from the mistakes of others. And honestly, when you think of stuff from a consumer standpoint, instead of this is what I'm giving and I, if you think about other people, you actually do better. So if you think about how you would want something to sound as a consumer, you would go get it mixed and things like that before you let other people hear it.
But as someone who frequently hears a lot of, because we hear a lot of different, from the worst to the best. Yeah. It's like refreshing when you come across something that's like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Well, because you think about it, they're thinking about you. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to send over stuff that sounds awful and is not mixed and things like that, you're not thinking about me.
You're not thinking about your listeners.
Yeah, you're not thinking about anybody. You're thinking that's selfish.
Yeah. That's going to be from now on when I talk to artists that send us garbage music, I'm going to tell them selfish.
Yeah, that's selfish. Because you're just like, listen to me, listen to what I'm saying, listen to the lyrics. Like, it's literally about you because you didn't care about my ears. You didn't care about...
No, they were assaulted.
Yeah.
And if it comes across that way to us, it's going to come across that way to other listeners too, and it's going to put people off. So
don't engage in audio abuse. Okay?
Oh no.
Yeah. Audio abuse.
Who do we call though for that?
In the field radio.
Oh my God.
Actually, call Finally TV. Anything you want to do.
Yeah, don't call us. Do not call us. We get enough.
Yo, call Finally TV.
Call Gabe directly.
Yeah. Gabe and his bow ties.
We still have to get him on the show. I want to ask him about his bow ties now that you brought that up.
I want to ask him why he feels like he's the premier outlet.
Because they all say that. We're the only ones that do say that.
Yeah, that actually, we don't have to say that though. We don't have to like tell people that.
Oh, facts.
Ooh, okay, enough messiness. Yes, we are messy. I know.
Well, let's get into a break before we get into this interview. So let me set the stage for the interview. We had the lovely, I got to sit down.
Not lovely.
No, I thought that was the colorful word. What word?
I don't know. I feel like lovely is for, you know what? I can't assign that to it. Yeah, I gotta, you know what? I can't assign that to a pronoun. Yeah, I can't.
Okay, so I sat down with Josh X at his studio out in Long Island, and this was the first time that I can honestly say that I was so nervous to interview somebody because I was a fan before, and not to say that I haven't interviewed people and become a fan of their music, and so this was someone that I had been a fan of their music before ever even dreaming of in the field radio. So it was so nerve-wracking to interview him, and he was so sweet and made me feel very comfortable. But listening back to the interview, I giggled through the whole thing.
Ooh.
Ty actually asked me why I laughed so much.
I was about to say, were you not in trouble?
No, he did. He said, why did you laugh so much? And I was like, because I was nervous. And he was like, for what? Like, well, because sometimes I get nervous. I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, I was super excited. I just want to also send love and prayers to Josh because he is dealing with a family loss right now. So it is something that he brought up in the interview. So definitely sending love and prayers to him. And I hope you all enjoy this interview as much as I did, even though I sound ridiculous.
Oh, and we'll be right back.
Hey y'all, have you been thinking about starting your own podcast? It might seem overwhelming, but low-key, the hardest part is getting started. But I'll tell you what, that's where Buzzsprout comes in. Buzzsprout has already helped over 100,000 people just like you start and grow their very own podcast. With Buzzsprout, you can have your show listed on major platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. You'll get a professional-looking podcast webpage, audio players you can add to other websites, detailed analytics to connect you with your audience, tools to promote your episodes, and more. Stop waiting. Start your podcast today and get a $20 Amazon gift card. All you gotta do is click the link in the show notes below. This lets Buzzsprout know that In the Field Radio sent you and helps support our show.
Welcome back to In the Field Radio. I'm Erin Boogie, and I'm in the building with Josh X.
Hey, what's going on?
We're on location in this super fire studio.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
So for our listeners that might not be familiar with you, who is Josh X? How would you describe yourself?
Josh X is pretty much an artist that's true to the art. You know, I really started playing music since the age of 6, and I really been classical trained, and I graduated from school with a music education degree. So I just want people to know, when you think of Josh X, just think of a student of music and someone that loves music. And when I come to the table with it, it's, you know, it's the real stuff.
So what was a young Josh X like?
Young Josh X was the same way I am today, you know what I mean? People know, if you get to know me in my personal circle, you know, I'm going to be a comedian. I'm going to have you cracking up all day. You know, I'm going to be about the ladies, you know what I'm saying? It's always a go. And, you know, I'm just about family and the values that my mom instilled in me as a young child. She pretty much told me with hard work comes, you know, apply yourself and everything will come.
Now, you got into music at 6 years old playing piano. How did that happen? How did you get into playing piano?
Well, first it was a little forced. My mom, she came through, you know, Haiti. Shout out to all my Haitian people. We was definitely from the Haiti, you know, the tropical island. And Mom Dukes, you know, she said, you in America and, you know, there's rules here, but we're going to raise you like there's no rules here. So this piano is your friend. You better get to know him or you're going to be dead. And as a 6-year-old kid, contemplating my choices, I ran to the piano, jumped up on there quick, started playing. At first, I was like, all right, this is crazy, because 6 years old, you don't want to play Mozart, you know?
Yeah.
But my mom, she was a real bougie mom, so she wanted me to be in there with the little tie, you know, and the little suit when her friends came over, and I'd have to play classical songs for her friends. And I did that for a while until I told my mom, like, classical music ain't gonna get me no girls. Like, every time I hit them with a Bach or a Chopin, the girls would be like, what's that? And I'm like, nah.
You're like, this is not sustainable.
This ain't, you know what I mean? So from there, I just went back to the drawing board. And in high school, I was learning songs by Brian McKnight and Stevie Wonder. And that's how I kind of got into R&B. I was like, oh, if I keep this up, this will be a vibe. And I sang that Brian McKnight song Anytime for this little girl I was crushing on, and it was over, you know what I mean? We'll keep little secrets on deck, but we got crazy in the high school, boy. Mom, I'm sorry.
That's so adorable. So you were originally inspired by some of the classical music greats, and then you got into Brian McKnight. How were you introduced to Brian McKnight?
Man, I said, no one ever asked me how I was introduced to Brian McKnight. That's a good question. I guess I fell maybe watching TV or something, you know, looking back, it was like a video, you know, that was playing on one of the channels, and I seen it, and I was like, that's fire. When I heard the piano, I automatically ran to my piano in the house, because I always had a piano. Mom had a big baby grand. You couldn't even go into the living room, only if you could play the piano. So it was crazy, you know, so I ran into the piano because obviously I had a pass. So I went in there and I started playing it. And as I was learning the keys, I was humming the melody, and that's how I started getting into his music.
That's awesome. And then you also got into producing. So how'd you get into producing?
Well, producing myself is how I first started writing and producing my own songs. And then when I was working with, like, you know, for example, when I was working with Swiss Beats, me and him was in the studio and he was producing me for my project. And then he was asking me, like, who produced this record? And I was like, I did. And he was like, oh, shoot, you should work with me for some of my projects I got going on. And that's when I kind of started extending my sound. Before, I was really just more keeping my music and producing my music. But now I kind of opened up where I produce other artists as well.
So one of the things we like to do on this show is name drop. And you have quite an impressive resume. So you've worked with Swiss Beats, like you just said, Jadakiss really early on. Mm-hmm. You've worked with Rick Ross, and you were one of the first people to work with Cardi B. Mm-hmm. So what did you see in her back then? Because I know you've said before that you saw her vision. Mm-hmm. So what did you see in her back then that made you believe that she was a star?
Well, at the time, I was in the process of negotiating a deal with Cash Money Records, and this was 2015, and there was a lot going on with me. I had to, you know, step back and shout out to Birdman and Slim for showing me so much love. And I ran into this guy named Shaft in 2015, and Shaft had an artist by the name of Cardi B. And of course, at the time, you know, I was working with, you know, so many artists that would you consider to be kind of iconic. People, when I said I was going to decide to work with Cardi, a lot of people told me, like, bro, you're losing your mind. And I was like, why? And they were like, she's not a rapper, she's a dancer. And I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? And my boy Shaft, he had such a big vision on what he saw for her. At the time, I kind of, you know, had my, you know, sense of believing in it. And once I believe in something, I'm all in. So I lent, you know, my talents to the situation and producing her and giving her some artist development. It was dope to see what she became. I like to say, you know, being one of the first people to produce her, it's an honor, you know, because I truly believed in it, and to see it go to the top, it's a blessing.
And you can't gloss over the Stevie Wonder thing. So you got to tell us the story about meeting Stevie Wonder and having him co-sign.
Stevie was cool, man. He's a legend. Shout out to Stevie. It's one of my, you know, greatest accomplishments was being in the presence of Stevie and getting the co-sign from him. It was surreal because I didn't expect it. I was just with Brian McKnight 24 hours ago from the time I was about to pull up on Stevie, but I didn't know anything about the Stevie situation. So if you put yourself in my shoes for a second, I was a little bit high off life because Brian McKnight just co-signed me. And I went to, you know, LA thinking I was untouchable. You know what I mean? He couldn't tell me nothing at that time. I was like, look, Brian McKnight said I'm nice. You feel me? And that's the reason I went into the music game. So when I went to the radio station in LA, I was just playing my piano, you know, getting ready to play for some programmers. And I didn't understand what was happening because a lot of people was like whispering. But I was just playing, not paying attention. If you look at the video on YouTube, it's pretty true to the story. Because I'm playing, and I look up, and it's like, hey, Josh. And it's like, boom, there's Stevie Wonder. And when I looked up, I was like, oh, shit. I just put my hands up. Like, oh, shit. You know, because now Stevie in the room. And, you know, that boy...
Instant nervous.
You know, that boy, it worked. So I'm making sure my hands is tuned up. Trying to tune it up instantly. Like, I'm getting nervous, but I know I got it because I'm like, if I wasn't supposed to be here, it wouldn't have been here. So I kind of get myself together. And he's like, hey, Josh. And I'm like, what up, Stevie? And he like, how you know my name? You know what I mean? And then we started talking. And, you know, he just asked for me to play some songs for him. And I went to play them. And he gave me so much great, like, so much love. You know what I mean? I've never had any time. I spent like 3 hours with him. And it was like a real crazy moment for me in my life. Very humble about that.
Did he give you any advice?
Oh, yeah. He told me, well, he didn't give me advice. He gave me a mandate. He told me if he was to co-sign me, I had to be an artist to write and create the music that he heard me play and sing. And one of the songs that I had called Mommy, I Love You was a song that I sang for him. And it made him cry. And he said
made Stevie Wonder cry.
Yeah, it was emotional. It was kind of crazy. You know, when he was talking to me about it, he said, that song is a song for the world. And that song could change lives. And you have the ability to carry the torch in my footsteps. And I was like, hold on, Stevie, like, I'm just trying to make music. This is getting heavy, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't never signed up for all that. I just was trying to make this music, get into some fly stuff, you know, because I'm from Queens. Like, growing up, never was I ever going to think, you know, Stevie Wonder would be telling me that I have to do something for him. So, you know, I just said, yeah, of course. And I meant it, you know, but at the time I wasn't going to say no anyways, because Stevie Wonder was giving me a mandate, and I took it. And shout out to Stevie Wonder, man, he changed my life forever.
Did you feel any pressure from that to live up to what he asked of you?
Yeah, because the industry is so fabricated with the opposite of what Stevie asked me for. And boy, oh boy, did Stevie put me on the battlefield. But hey, it's worth going into the field for somebody like Stevie. He's an icon, and if he felt that I was that type of person that could be iconic, which is what his words were, I felt like, damn, you know, how many times would somebody like Stevie Wonder say this to you? So I took it and I kept it with me.
That's so beautiful.
Thank you.
So, new song, 190, is out now. How are you feeling about that?
I'm loving the vibe. It's a new vibe for me. You know, I like to create new types of sounds. It came to me like more of a Caribbean vibe, but I wanted to put some R&B on it, so I kind of mixed it up. And shout out to TJ, the beat man, the producer that's on the squad. And he sent the beat to me, and I heard it, and that hook just came to me instantly. And I started writing it, and then I dropped it. The people are, you know, vibing with it, so it feels good to see, because it's a complete new sound for me. In terms of that Afro vibe, I've been kind of just vibing with that for a while. I'm kind of in that space right now, and I'm happy people are receiving it well.
And what inspired that record?
Well, I have to say, just the time, like, the people in the world that I was talking to, I'm not saying no names, they were kind of trying to boo somebody up, and the boo wasn't trying to receive this, you know what I mean? So I was like, damn, Shorty just wanted one night with you? Like, damn, trying to give it a ring, trying to give it a car, she just wanted one night? Like, that's crazy. And the songs and the topics started coming to me, you know, and I caught that vibe.
So it was based on real life experience, just not your real life experience.
Nah, because you know me, if you don't want to stay there, you gotta go. I don't got time, you know what I mean? If I want to wife it up and she don't want to be here, we gotta ship it out, unfortunately.
And so the video was inspired by you?
Yeah, that's it.
I need to hear more about that.
I mean, all this whole time I was just zoned out watching it. And I can't believe how much I watched it, because I'm really not like a TV person, but I recently started getting into this Netflix stuff. And let me tell you, it's bad. It is bad.
Oh, you go right down the rabbit hole.
Bad business, because the whole thing goes so fast.
Yeah.
So by the time you're looking and you're finished with one episode, the next thing, boom, you know, there's no ads. So it's like, I ran through the whole season. And I was like, yo, that would be cool if I shot a video. When I heard the song after we finished it, I was like, you know what? I need a video like that. And I was inspired to come up with it.
What was your favorite memory from the video shoot?
I had fun that whole video shoot. But favorite memory is when we were like, we was just joking around back and forth. And the girls in the scene was kind of like cheating on me with the dude. And I was cracking jokes and everybody was laughing. And I was freezing. So I was cracking jokes to try to stay warm. But more importantly, it was dope to see us all just catching the vibe. It was dope.
And so recently you linked with Fabio Foreign on Going Dummy. What was it like collaborating with him?
It was dope, man. Fabio's super talented. Super happy for him, because my team kind of was, you know, really early there for him in the beginning of his career. So it was dope, you know, being around and seeing him and watching him get all his flowers. And then, you know, having a song that he liked and jumping on it. And we shot the video during the pandemic. It was crazy. It was like, we held it for a while because we were like, we gotta drop this when it's regular, like people are outside. But we shot it during the pandemic and we had mad fun. And Fabio was super lit.
Take us back to that session. What was that like?
I mean, for me, Going Dummy was another song that that's like a drill song that I kind of wanted to explore. And drill music was just something that I was like, yo, if I jump on the beat, it's gonna be like this. So that session was super cool because it was me finding out about myself, that I could do songs like that. Because when I try new music, if I don't really love it, I'm not gonna put it out.
Mm-hmm.
But when I try it and people love it, and then when Fabio jumped on it, I was like, alright, so people like my drill music, and it was cool for me.
So you produced that beat?
Nah,
No,
my boy
somebody else
DJ
did?
Swanko did that. Shout out to Swanko.
Oh, Swanko's from up by where I'm from. Yeah.
You know, that's right. I always crack on Swanko because when he come here, you gotta drive all the way up there.
Yep.
Like you're from your upstates and blah blah blah. But yes,
I think he came through to my radio show like super early on.
Dope.
And he came with somebody else, so he actually didn't jump on the mic too much. So now I'm gonna have to revisit that.
Yeah, Swanko's mad funny. He's a cool guy. He always wanted me to come up there, but I haven't made it up there yet because of pandemic, crazy stuff. And I think he's out of there now. He might be.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, most people
After that,
leave.
Yeah, unfortunately, right? But hey, shout out to my boy Swanko.
Yeah, no, and check us upstate sometime.
No,
It's not that bad up there.
I'm cool. You could come. I shot the video upstate.
Did you wear?
Yeah. You remember the time? But it was upstate. Jamestown?
That's like pretty far upstate, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jamestown. I was up there. We shot the video. It was a whole film. It was a movie.
Oh my God.
It was a movie. And it was great. It was crazy. But I love it. Shout out to upstate. That house was fire.
And what would you like fans to get from your story?
From my story, I just want people in general to know that in life, you know, you're going to have to just put in the work to get what you want out of it. You know, nothing's perfect. My life isn't perfect. You know, I grew up in a single parent home for, you know, a long time and then went through a lot of, you know, I would say crazy situations with stepfathers that, you know, might have did a lot of mental kind of abuse and things to kind of put me down. But I'm a survivor of going through things and not taking a negative route and staying positive. So I just want people to know when you see me, just know that nothing was cookie like clean, picture perfect. I had a pretty hard life, but I chose to, you know, keep strong and keep hard at it. And with God and my strength, you know, I'm able to be here. So I want my peoples that love my music to know that never give up.
And you've worked with some pretty impressive people over the course of your career. Who do you still want to work with?
I want to still work with a lot of artists like Drake. He's super talented. I love his music.
I feel like everyone always says Drake. That's
I
like the
love
number
Drake's
one.
music. He's super talented. And I seen it come up from the whole being down with the whole Cash Money joint for a while and almost doing a deal over there. So it was dope to see that, you know, and watch his success. And I know all the people that, you know, were a part of that. So it was really dope. Shout out to Drake. Adele, I would love to work with her. Ed Sheeran, Thames, definitely would love to work with Thames.
She's a superstar.
I love her voice.
Yes.
I mean, she does something to me. She really does. I'm sorry, babe. But that's my little industry boo, you know what I mean? I'm gonna find her one day. You know, Tez is something, she's something. I mean, her voice just pulls me in every time. But I love to work with her. Future is another artist that I would love to work with. And many more.
What are some things you need in the studio to create a vibe?
Candles. You know, I'm a big candle person.
What's your favorite candle scent?
That's hard. Jeez. I just caught a new vibe. I got like this coconut pineapple joint. It's a movie. If I light that thing up, forget it. People don't want to leave the crib. I be having to cut it off sometimes. People just be coming, neighbors be knocking on the door. It's crazy, that candle. It's coconut pineapple. And I burn that thing. I'll probably burn it when I get home now. I'm talking about
Yeah, now I'm about to go copy it because I'm a candle person
crazy.
too.
It's from DSW, is that? No. DNW. I'll get the name and I'll let you know. But it's a movie. But yeah, eucalyptus is good too. I like to burn that sometimes. Certain brands are good.
And do you write or do you just flow off the top?
I don't write on paper, no.
No?
No. It's nothing that I like to do. Because I can't really flow when I'm writing. I would write and then write from memory. but I don't write on paper. Like, I write in my head, and then when I'm done and I got the lines that I love, then I'll just write them down.
Who are some producers that you would like to work with?
Producers. Timberland. Missy. I was supposed to work with Missy a while ago. We linked up, but a lot of things changed. I was moving around at the time, but Missy, I would love to revisit that.
What was it like meeting her?
She's an icon.
Because she's like...
Yeah, she's an icon.
Next
I was passed
level.
out. She's my...
No.
She's an icon. You know, I was really blessed to be even in the conversation with her. But yeah, she's dope, humble. She didn't even act like she was a superstar.
Really?
Yeah, it was super like weird. But aren't you Missy? I had to remind her. But she's dope.
Which leads me, this is a good segue into my next question. Since we're a female-fronted radio show, we always ask our guests, who is a woman that inspires you?
In terms of women in a family setting, I would say my mom. You know, watching her raise 5 kids by herself in New York was no joke. You know, we all had our own issues. We all had our own traumas. And she thugged us out for the most part. But, she got us there. And I seen her, buy the house, get the cars, put the kids in college. So when I seen my mom do that all by herself, I was like, as a young man, there's really no excuse for me. And my mom was born in Haiti at that, you know what I mean? English was a second language. So, it was something that I had a great role model growing up. It was my mom. She was like my mom and my dad. And then, of course, when it comes to the love, it's my shorty.
Shout out to her. She's here.
Yeah, she in the building. Mwah.
And shout out to Mom for holding it down.
For real.
All right, so what can we expect next from Josh X?
For me, I'm just really working on just staying creative. I feel like I'm in a great creative space right now. So I just want to keep dropping music and putting it out and letting people tell me what they think. I'm really not really clout chaser, so I'm not chasing anything. I'm really just chasing the way I feel, and I want to express it. Kind of like what Stevie asked me to do, just keep putting out music that when they listen, they can grab to it and help in some way in their personal life. And just building businesses. I'm big on build the business. You happen to be in one of my businesses. And this is definitely something I like to continue to expand. I have barbershops. I have a lot of different things going on. So
that's dope.
Thank you.
That's real dope.
I like to just continue to, music and my businesses and then become a family man soon,
Any live performances coming up?
I got a lot of things going on within my personal life. My pops is battling cancer.
Oh, no.
My stepfather. So it's something that I'm just sitting put and making sure I'm there to support the family right now. So
yeah, that's understandable.
Traveling is not really on my schedule.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so let the people know where they can find you.
You can find me on the gram. I'm on there all the time. Josh X, spelled JOSHXANTUS. And the same for Twitter. The same for TikTok, Snapchat. Everything is Josh Xantus, spelled JOSHXANTUS. And then my website is joshx.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
We lit. Thank you for having me. I'm really, really excited. Thank you.
Welcome back to In the Field Radio. I'm Erin Boogie here with Miss Lady D.
What's going on?
There's a cockroach right there. There's a roach.
And we're just going to get right to the Roach of the Week this week because I think that it is something that is going to take a little while for us to get through.
Right.
And we this week we were on the same page with the Roach.
Yeah, so it's like double Roach.
It's the Roach riding the goldfish Roach.
Right, like water bug Roach. Like huge
Super
Roach. Yeah.
And it's the Supreme Court of the United States.
Supreme Court is the Roach of the Week. Everyone involved.
So just for kind of backstory, in case you've been hiding under a total rock and have picked up your phone, a television, a newspaper.
Right, because I was notified by
being.
Apple. Like it was like news, like on my front thing. Like it doesn't always do that unless something crazy happens, and it's like news. Like you'll get a notification when it's crazy, and I was notified.
So the Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade, negating almost 50 years of legal precedent. And now it's the Wild Wild West, because what's next?
Well, and then they also was like, it's unconstitutional, all the, rules in place to make it legal for you to conceal carry, where, you had to get the references and you had to go to the class and all that. They were like, it's unconstitutional to require all those things. And you should be able to have like an ID and maybe a basic background check and then conceal carry, which is crazy.
But it's just so, like, old white men are so exhausting, and I'm not really sure why they haven't all died off. But, like...
Oh my God. Oh my God.
No, I'm serious. Like, I feel that way. I have felt that way for a long time. I remember when I was like, this was a while ago. I won't date myself by naming how long ago. But I remember, like, you couldn't have tattoos showing at your job. And I have one that come onto my wrist. And I'm like... one day this generation is going to die off and I'm going to be able to wear tattoos. And then it was like, now you can wear tattoos at your job, but we're going to take away all your other rights. We're going to start stripping things from the Constitution.
Well, people made an excellent point as to like, now guns have more rights than women. Like immediately after mass shootings, they're like, nah, more guns.
Well, so that's the problem for me, is that you don't care about, you're not pro-life, because if you cared about children and their lives, you would start doing something about school shooting. And I saw someone post something today that said life begins at conception and it ends in a school shooting.
Yeah. Like people are like, very confused.
That's such an extreme way to put it, but like, they care more about life beginning at conception than they do about stemming the gun violence in America. And I'm not anti-gun. I'm very pro-gun, but I think that people are not taught how to use guns responsibly. And I think that there's just like an underlying anger issue in America, and stuff like this is going to make that so much worse.
Well, the thing is, I didn't see the problem. Like me personally, I can go and get guns to protect my home. Like you don't have to go through all that stuff to have guns to protect your home. Mm-hmm. So what's the problem? I don't personally feel like I need to be strapped at the Poughkeepsie Galleria. I don't. And no one else should feel that way. Like what are you guys doing? And that's what so
they
you should have to explain yourself. Like, why do you feel like you should be strapped all over the place?
But the Poughkeepsie Galleria has had a shooting.
Yeah.
So,
Dad had a concealed carry, and I seen him. And one time we did go to the mall. One time he did have it on him, but he came from work or was about to go to work. But normally he wouldn't. And like, so he can conceal carry, but he doesn't if he doesn't need to. Like if he's about to go to work or coming from work or something like that and he had it on him, that's the only time. But like just normally going out, he never had it on him. There's people that just want to have it. Like it's, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not super anti-concealed carry or any of that, because I think that if you're going to use, there's no amount of, if you're going to use a gun responsibly, you're going to use it responsibly, versus if you're not going to use the gun the way that it is intended to. Like all these school shootings and stuff, I shouldn't say all, I don't want to say all of them, because I don't know what the exact statistic is, and I don't want anyone to come for me. But the majority of these school shootings and even these mass shootings, these guns were all obtained legally. So if you don't have a red flag law in place and you're not doing a psychological background check and talking to these people's neighbors, like the kid that shot up the school in Connecticut.
Well, see, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why it's like you have the references. Because when you talk to people afterwards, oh, he was bullied. He was this. He was weird. If you would have did that beforehand when he was trying to get a reference to do that, you know what I'm saying? He wouldn't have got the guns. Because who would have vouched for him? Nobody.
And that was like the kid in Connecticut. That was going to be my like point, like driving that point home, is that like that kid that shot up the elementary school in Connecticut was out of control. Like his mom was trying to get him because she knew that he was not right, and because he was legally an adult, there's nothing you can do about getting a person like that mental health or alerting people to the fact that he's not okay, or any kind of notation about like, hey, my kid's psychotic, we should probably not give him guns. And then something happens, and then it, like you said, everyone's like, oh well, we knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah, but he didn't have to get him. Now, if he got weapons, like I said, to protect your home, I didn't mind that. Like, you know, you can go in with your license and you get rifles and big things to protect your home. You know what I mean? Like, so you're not hiding that in your pocket. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if I see somebody walking around with ain't no way you just walking around with the rifle. I mean, I don't know. I mean, apparently people are, but there's that too. But I'm just saying, the concealed carry, like, now we don't even know who has it. Like,
I don't know how we got from Roe v. Wade to gun control.
Well, because we felt like the guns have more rights than the women.
But that's a whole fact. But
so
now,
it's like, yeah, like people can have guns and they could do whatever. But then it's like, if you have an ectopic pregnancy or something like that, where you will definitely die,
you're stuck with it.
Yeah.
So my whole thing is that, and I don't like to sound like this because I'm not a party person. I don't think the Democrats are right, and I don't think the Republicans are right. I'm a very moderate type political individual. Like, that's what my viewpoints typically are. Like, I don't think we should have a free-for-all like the Democrats want, but I'm not conservative like the Republicans. So it's hard because somebody like is lost in the sauce, right? We have no representation because it's either like all or nothing. There's no in between.
But an independent party person never wins. It's just somebody to vote for to move votes around. Like,
I feel that for the midterms, it's like you want to say go vote all Democrats and get the Republicans out, but that doesn't help anything because you can't vote for a Supreme Court justice. They're appointed, and those Supreme Court justices said one thing during their confirmation hearing and did another thing. Like, if I lied on the job application and somebody got hurt, I would lose my job. But that's not the case for these people. And so I think we need to start instituting
and also
things like
why are they there until they die?
That's what I'm saying.
That has always been a problem. Like, the career politicians, and it's like coming up more and more. I mean, it's always been like an issue for people, but like, why are you appointed to certain offices and you're allowed to be there forever? Because times change. Yes. And so it's like the mindset that you had in whenever is not applicable to now, and it's not appropriate.
And that's where you don't want to wish death on people, but like, hey, old generation who's not fitting in with viewpoints, if the only way that I can get rid of you is for you to unalive, then that's what needs to happen. Like,
I'm just saying, these are the same people. Like, you were allowed to smoke in hospitals. We were smoking in IHOP. You guys had Coca-Cola you had cocaine in your Coca-Cola.
Like, that's a wild time to me. Like,
you know what I'm saying? The same people are just here making laws. Like, bro.
But now they're at a point where their viewpoints are so outdated, and I don't have there's no short-term solution. I don't have any answers. I don't think anyone does at this point. But action is definitely needed.
Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do. I feel so helpless. Like, lately, I've just been feeling so helpless.
I was feeling hopeless the first day, and I've been like super angry the last 2 days about it. And it's a scary time because if they can overturn 50 years of legal precedent in Roe v. Wade, like, what's next? Because Clarence Thomas said that now we need to look at gay marriage contraception. And so now,
in privacy in the bedroom? Like, are we serious?
Yes. And now it's like, well, if they're gonna take up those two topics next, what comes after that? And that's where it's scary and it's unknown, and we feel like, and and it bothers me about Clarence Thomas too, because he has a white wife, like, and he acts like his colleagues won't reverse the ruling that allows interracial marriage, or that they won't be having him sip from a separate water fountain from him if they could. You know what I mean? And so it's like, I don't get the logic behind it, but all I know is the only thing I have come up with so far is, women, if you have unwanted babies, you could leave them on the doorstep of Clarence Thomas.
They're safe.
We're leaving them on the steps of the Supreme Court justices that voted to overturn Roe v. Wade. So I have them.
Oh, have you seen that video about the guy? He went up to the protesters, the pro-life protesters, and was like, how many? They were like, so what would you suggest people do? And they're like, there's adoption. And he asked each person how many people they've adopted.
No, I'm gonna name all of the justices that voted overturning Roe v. Wade, because I think these people their names need to be made public too.
They're all the mini roaches that build up to the huge roach.
Yes.
So yeah, go off.
It's like the Roach transformer. So it's Clarence Thomas, Samuel A. Alito Jr., Neil M. Gorsuch. That's right, we're using middle initials. Brett M. Kavanaugh, surprise there. Amy Coney Barrett, like, whose name is even that? And the justices that voted to uphold Roe v. Wade, I want to shine some light on them too, because I want to thank them for standing up in the face of their other weirdo Supreme Court justices. We have Stephen G. Breyer, Nia Sotomayor, Elena Kagan, and John T. Roberts. So there you have it.
The roaches and the non-roaches. So what was it? A difference of like one?
I think it was like 5-3.
Ugh, awful. No, it can't be an even number of justices, right? It can be
No, it's 5-4, something like that. 6. Yeah, 5-4.
Wow, yeah, it was a difference of one. That's crazy. That's crazy. Oh, maybe that's why Clarence Thomas's name is like the name everyone keeps saying, because maybe he was the deciding factor.
I think he wrote something in the opinion too.
Well, that was, remember when the documents got leaked?
Yes.
So we knew this was coming. Awful times. Yeah. I don't know. I've always, you know how people, they're American citizens, but they're like dual citizens of other places. I've just wondered if anybody like American made it a point to like be a dual citizen somewhere else, because I've honestly been thinking about it.
I just keep trying to push Canada down Ty's throat.
Canada?
Yeah.
Canada's cute.
I could leave today.
There's more Drakes there, I feel like. Zach's there.
I'm not there. That's all it's missing.
All right.
On that note,
you follow In the Field Radio on Instagram and Facebook. Like us. We air every Monday at 10 and every Thursday at 11. My name is at THEE lady_D.
I'm Erin Boogie on all platforms. And make sure you let us know how you guys are feeling too. Maybe we'll even read some of your comments on air.
We definitely
I think
will.
that would be a good time.
Yeah. info@inthefieldradio.com.
Yeah. So it's been great hanging with you again. Hope next time we get to do it in person.
Right. I think we should.
Agreed.
Take
and
pictures.
We'll see you all next Monday. Well, first on Thursday and then on Monday.
Yeah. Thanks for chilling with those chicks on Mondays and Thursdays.